Hey, remember when we said that we were gonna do the Alchemist 2 weeks ago, and then we didn't do it? The changes for the Alchemist?
I was given a forget-me potion by the Alchemist.
Don't look for it in the book because
It's not a thing.
it's not a thing. But it still happened to us, so don't make fun of us either. Hi everybody, welcome to GameGorgon. My name is Krug.
I'm Indigo.
Today we're here to talk to you about the Alchemist changes in patch 1.6 that happened 17 years ago.
There are so many changes. When we went over the 1.6 patch, we were just like,
We need more time.
We're not going to talk about it because that would be an entire episode. And here's that said episode.
Yeah, and just for your reference, there are also a lot of changes to the Sorcerer and the Paladin, which we're going to be going over in future videos. So wait for those.
Now, the number one and biggest change is the fact that the Alchemist will no longer be using resonance points.
At all.
Well, no.
I mean, for magic items.
Exactly. So their pool of resonant point will still refer to them using magic items like wands or having boots and blah, 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 blah.
Same as every other.
Same as every other class. The difference is that previously the resonance points also referred to how many potions that they could make.
Yeah.
That's no longer a thing. You now
awesome.
have two different pools of points that you can use.
Again, like every other class.
And this is called infused reagents.
Okay.
And that's what the new pool is. It's your level plus your intelligence modifier.
Nice. Next, there are a couple changes to advanced alchemy, the first of which being the quantity of potions that you make when you make a batch is now just 2, because there's no reason not to make 2. And I think maybe having 1 or 2 in that description was a little bit misleading to players, like as though there was some sort of benefit.
Well, there was a couple of things to it. One, it was way wordier how they did it.
Yeah,
they were like, you can make up to half the amount of which an entire batch is, which averages to being around 2. And you're like, so I can make 1 or 2 is what you're saying to me. And then they were just like,
just make 2.
yeah, you can make 2. You make 2.
Yeah, you can multiply numbers by 2. Good job.
Yeah.
They also added additional levels to advanced alchemy, meaning that you'll get a wider variety of potions that you can make over time as you invest points into the alchemist archetype.
Yeah, it made this more like a traditional caster in the sense that you're gaining additional spells each level versus like every couple levels.
But this is formulas instead of spells.
Exactly.
Did you say exactula? I want to suck your formulas.
Now with Quick Alchemy, the only change that they made is a wording. So originally when they had Quick Alchemy, you could quickly make a potion on your turn, but instead of making up to half of a batch, aka 2, you could only make one item.
Yes.
The thing about the wording is that it doesn't say that you have to have the formula. So it was basically like it just said you can make an alchemist potion. Is a quick alchemy action. They have now added the wording that you have the formula for.
Yeah, I mean, players are cheeky sometimes, and will try to get their GM to let them off with something that actually makes 0 sense. Like, and some GMs might do it, but thankfully they added this in there so that kind of BS doesn't fly.
The best change I think that they made to the Alchemist is they've added something called research field.
Okay.
So at first level, you're going to choose what type of alchemy you're going to be best at.
Sure.
And based off of the choice that you make throughout the leveling scheme of things, you're going to get better and better and better at that.
So this is like School of Magic for wizards sort of thing.
It's exactly like School of Magic.
They're basically taking the Alchemist at this point and throwing in different things from other classes that worked really well and then tuning it for the Alchemist.
Exactly.
Which is smart.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the 4 different categories are Bomber,
Chirurgeon,
Mutagenist, and Poisoner.
Yep.
Each one of those are very clear, and you know exactly what those things specialize in.
I bet in the comments section they're gonna be like, "Oh, is this?" And we're gonna be like,
"Why didn't you do your research beforehand?" Bomber, of course, is getting better at bombs. The first thing that they're going to be gaining is the fact that if they use a bomb that has a splash damage, it does not affect their allies.
Oh. My effective health as every character just went up by 30.
Yeah.
Like, Indigo loves throwing bombs in my general direction.
Look, the Alchemist I was playing at that time was waiting until it got that feat that could make it not a thing.
That's fair.
The Bomber also is going to gain 2 additional formulas at first level that have the bomb trait to it.
The
Chirurgeon,
I think it's pronounced, is the healing kind of archetype for the Alchemist. It's going to start with 2 antidotes, elixirs, or antitoxins, in addition to what you normally start with as an Alchemist. And it's going to get the special ability to use crafting checks instead of medicine checks, as long as you're still trained in medicine for any untrained medicine action. That's a long-winded one, but I think when you boil it down, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just basically you don't have to focus your attention into as many different things.
Treat people like objects.
Next is the Mutagenist. You get access to uncommon mutagens straight off the bat. You're also going to get 2 additional mutagen formulas in your formula book at first level.
Nice.
And then the kind of key thing to this one is that your onset time for your mutagens is going to drop.
Nice.
So if your onset time was a minute, it's now dropped down to at the end of your next turn. And then the other onset, which was at the end of your next turn, is now no onset. So you can take a potion in combat and be able to take over the effects.
Benefits immediately.
Exactly.
Nice. Next is the Poisoner. You're going to start with 2 additional poisons or antidotes. I think you can split those up 1 and 1.
Yes, there's no. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
It's so 1 poison, 1 antidote if you want to.
Exactly.
And then the application process for you to apply poisons to weapons is reduced from 3 actions to 1 action.
Now, I really like this one actually because I think it allows the Alchemist a very different route versus the other ones. Like Alchemist is very traditionally a bomber, is the mutagen aspect of it. The
Chirurgeon,
that one's newish. Like I like the idea of the healing aspect. But the Poisoner, their whole idea is, hey, you're not just an assassin. You're also someone that can treat it. That's why you're also getting the option of antidotes.
Yeah, so you are the counter to yourself and dangerous to your enemies at the same time.
Exactly.
Which is great.
I think it allows for an interesting possible like combo between assassin or a rogue and alchemist.
Yeah, like the alchemist following the rogue around and then like, oh, you're about to go in? Here, have some of this and some of this. Kill them, please.
Yeah.
Hey, if you like our shirts, check the link in the description to Void Merch. They sent these to us for free, and we really like them, and we think you will too. Don't spill your potions on them, because those don't wash out, and sometimes they melt the shirts.
Empowered Bomb is gone! Yay! I'm only really excited about that. It was the most, without being super rude about it, it's pretty laziest way to like make the Alchemist fun. It was like, hey, your Alchemist fire now does double damage. Now does 3 times the original damage.
That should scale just kind of naturally.
Yeah, like the fact that it was just
the same way spells like heighten, basically, you know?
Yeah, it was basically, hey, that is your what is it called? Your cantrip.
Yeah.
Basically, here's like the basic thing, and it was just like, all right, it does more now. Like it was just kind of like. And that was like the big aspect of the character, but it kind of pushes itself into the bomber now more.
Good.
Because it makes the class more roundabout versus very hyper specific.
At level 5, you're going to get your first field discovery, which is going to basically push you further towards the kind of alchemist that you've selected.
Mm-hmm. The first one is Bomber, and your bombs now are considered to have proficiency of expert when using them.
Nice.
So you're just getting more accurate with your bombs.
Sweet. For the
Chirurgeon,
you're going to be able to create batches that are 1 larger when you're creating elixirs of life.
Mutagenism is kind of boring on this one. You ignore onsets for any mutagen that you create.
Nice.
I mean, isn't that kind of what you did on the first?
Well, ignore completely.
Yeah, but like,
if there were onsets that were longer, I'd say that was really valuable. But if the longest one is a minute, like, and you've already reduced that down, like, meh, you know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You could have, you whatever.
As a poisonist, you're going to receive a +2 conditional bonus to saving throws against poison and poison resistance equal to half your level.
Makes complete sense, and this is a very nice...
When you get to a certain level, you can drink potions of a lower level and just not receive any damage. Like at level 20, you can have resistance 10 and like super high saving throw against poisons. You just drink them. Like in front of people, and then make intimidation checks. dude.
You just pour poison out onto something. And then, yeah. Next is Perpetual Infusion, and this is at seventh level, sorry. And you're going to be able to create 2 items instead of 1 using Quick Alchemy.
Nice.
Based off of what class or what kind of research field that you chose.
Sure.
So it's just allowing you to have more items, since with Quick Alchemy you can only create 1 normally.
By default. For the bomber, you get to choose between Minor Acid Flask, Minor Alchemist's Fire, Minor Bottled Lightning, Minor Liquid Ice, and Minor Thunderstone.
For the
Chirurgeon.
you get Antidote and Anti-Plague.
For the Mutagist, you get to choose between Minor Bestial Mutagen, Minor Bullheaded Mutagen, Minor Cognitive Mutagen, Minor Juggernaut Mutagen, Minor Quicksilver Mutagen, and Minor Silver Tongue Mutagen. If you expected me not to read that like I'm some sort of like savant with memory, then F you.
I read Chirurgeon.
Hey, that's just 3 words. That's 3 fucking words.
For Poisoner, you get Antidote, Arsenic, Giant Centipede Venom. I also read that one.
The double brew feature is effectively the same, but it's moved from 13th level down to 9th.
Which, great.
Yeah.
Give the Alchemist a little bit more juice.
Double the amount of juice.
At 9th level, you're going to get Perpetual Potency, which is basically, depending on the field in which you chose, you can now make a few different Quick Alchemy items without expending your reagents.
Making them like really cantripy. Like
Yes.
these are the things that you can spam.
Yes, because normally having to spend 1 point to make 1 item while in combat versus, okay, great, I'm just gonna keep making these all day long because that's how I need these. It makes them not only more cantripy, but it makes them more viable long term for longer battles.
For the bomber, you're going to be able to do this with lesser versions of the minor bombs you chose for perpetual reactions. There's a lot of lesser minor, like they're just like burying it.
For
Chirurgeon.
you're going to get greater antidotes and anti-plagues.
For the Mutagist, you're going to get to use the lesser versions of the minor mutagens that you picked for perpetual reactions. I get the log ones! It's not fair!
For Poisoner, you're going to get Hunter's... For Poisoner, you're going to get Hunting Spider Venom as well as Giant Scorpion Venom.
Nice. At level 13, you make a greater field discovery, which is incredible in your chosen field. Ooh.
With Bomber, your weapon proficiency goes up to Master when using a bomb.
Sweet. For the
Chirurgeon.
When you use Quick Alchemy to create any type of elixir of life, the creature drinking the elixir does not need to roll to determine the number of hit points restored by the elixir. The creature instead regains the maximum number of hit points possible. You could have shortened that to 1 sentence, Paizo. F you.
No, they wanted you to read all these long ones.
Your elixirs of life always restore the maximum health possible. But boom, done. Is there any vagueness there? I don't think so.
For Mutagenist, you become an expert with unarmed attacks.
You're so f***ing lucky. For Poisoner, you apply a dose of contact or injury poison you create to your hand. Applying the poison does not poison you, but after the poison is applied, you can make a fist attack or a melee touch attack with your hand to poison your target. On a success, the poison is applied to your target. On a failure, the poison is wasted. If you don't use the poison within 1 hour after applying it, your body harmlessly absorbs the poison and it is wasted.
I really like the Poisoner.
I like the Poisoner too. I especially like the fact that you can make it a touch attack instead of a melee attack. Where you like, hey, I know your attack sucks. Here you go. Like, that's awesome. This class, not class, but this
subclass,
is very interesting. Has a lot of potential.
It's added
and
a
the fact
lot
that you can still do the rest of the stuff. Really strong.
Well, and then with the previous levels, you got to think that they'll do it, they'll use it. If they fail, guess what? It's just one action to do it again. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of really interesting like aspects to it that make the Poisoner very, very interesting.
Also, I'm just throwing this out there: the role play of just like, you're poisoned now.
Do you know what I also think? And this would be GM conversation, but this could be very Poison Ivy-esque, where you have like poison lipstick.
See, I was thinking of something similar where you'd like be in a political like assassination situation and like
shake. Yeah,
and, like, I'd let you make a thievery check to have that go unnoticed.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I didn't wash my hands after I went to the bathroom or something.
Yeah, no, I think that makes it makes it really interesting.
Yeah.
Perpetual Perfection is a level 15, and it basically means that you can make more stronger things without spending your infused reagents. depending on the class you chose.
Yep. For the bomber, you're going to get to use the standard versions of the minor bombs that you picked for perpetual reactions.
Chirurgeon.
Now have true antidotes and true anti-plagues.
Nice. For the mutanogens, you get to choose the standard versions of the minor mutanogens that you picked for perpetual reactions.
For poisoner, you're going to get spider root and shadow essence added to your list of poisons.
Yay. At level 17, you get alchemical alacrity, which is, again, just how I think that's pronounced. This is going to allow you to spend up to 3 batches of infused reagents to make up to 3 items that are 13th level or lower.
That's it for the Alchemist, but I want you to head down to the comments and let us know what you thought about the changes.
Yeah.
And which one of the subclasses are you going to choose? While you're down there, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and then after doing all of that, hit the bell icon, and then come over to Twitter and talk to us. You can talk to me on Twitter at IndigoQT.
You can talk to me on Twitter at QueueTimes. Be sure to tell me how to pronounce
Chirurgeon.
And if you want to talk to both of us, you can do that. All these social media things. We will talk to you later. We've been GameGorgon. Goodbye.